And a warm welcome again to the big match. And today we've struck lucky because we've no fewer than 14 new goals to show you from 3 of yesterday's games. Our main match is Chelsea against Manchester City. We also have Burnley against the team that really is the talk of the second division now, Aston Villa. And as our bonus match this week, we've picked up a game of 6 goals and 1 player sent off. Sheffield Wednesday against Hull. Studio guest, Malcolm Allison of Manchester City. He's in the news again today, and he'll be telling us why he went onto the touchline yesterday at Stamford Bridge. But first, it is to Stamford Bridge for Chelsea against Manchester City, a match that beats all others on the day in potential. And waiting for the teams to come out, the football champions of Bermuda. But it's been such a disappointing start of the season for Manchester City, and they were the first onto the field for this game, led by skipper Colin Bell. But without injured Rodney Marsh, and with 19-year-old Colin Barrett keeping his place at number 2 in place of Tony Book. The Chelsea changes, they come in defence, where Dempsey and Droy are both injured. David Webb moves to number 5 with Ronnie Harris alongside him. And Paddy Mulligan, the Irishman, gets his first game of the season for Chelsea at number 2. It's a defence that expects to be tested to the full by those 3 great stars from the Manchester City attack. One of them, of course, is Mike Summerbee, so swift and dangerous down the wing. There's also Colin Bell, a player, it seems, with energy enough for 2. And, of course, Francis Lee, now happily recovered from a midweek knock. The referee today, Ray Tinkler of Boston, and in the disappointing crowd of 30,000, a selection of faces, some young and some pretty ones that it's always good to see at a football ground. And also, another one that's equally good to see, a face that has seen it all before.
So Manchester City then in their startling strip of all white with the blue and red diagonal stripes across it. Kick-off defending the goal to our left. City, who've made such a poor start to the season. In 4 games, they've won only 1 and lost 3. In fact, have scored in only 1 of those games. The last possible sort of start that anyone would have forecast for them. Chelsea, whose great early season progress was halted by Liverpool here on Wednesday night. And Manchester City today to add to their troubles without Rodney Marsh. On the touchline now with a shoulder injury. Towards Webb, who'd gone right up. Hollins driving one on. And it won't go out of play. And Garland with a chance to turn it back. A little dig back for Webb right in there. Cook nutting it in again. Hollins bursting one in. And City didn't know where they were. Kemba. Oh, a foul there by Towers on Kemba. A resilient player, Kemba, but he really couldn't take that sort of challenge from Towers. Chelsea's free kick. Hudson lofting one on. Cook turning it on. But the whistle had already gone. And referee Ray Tinkler there to spot an offside decision, giving Manchester City a chance to draw their breath again. Colin Bell to take the throw. Miller. And Webb getting in to give away the corner. To be taken by Mike Summerbee. Tommy Booth has gone right in, and that's the man. No, he's not. He's gone above his head, but Doyle was in there too. And Hollins with a chance to get it away now for Chelsea. Harris and Mulligan. A little too high for Towers, and now it's Garland to Cook. Towers recovering. Chelsea claimed fleetingly that Mellor might have been offside, but a good shot by Mellor, and that very nearly deceived Bonetti by the near post, and Bonetti forced to give away the corner. A really powerful shot there by Ian Mellor, this 6-footer. The target was a very small one. He hit it straight and true. Summerbee with the corner on the far side now. Lee outnumbered, or rather Bell outnumbered, and now Lee. Kemba, Webb, all presenting it straight again to Mike Summerbee. He's rounded Mulligan. Still Summerbee. Barrett, Doyle, Bell, and Derek Jeffries. Lee. A lot of Chelsea men back, and Jeffries pounding down there. Now Bell. They've kept possession well as Bell now places it straight for Bonetti. And now Hollins. Osgood right back in the deep position. But he's got Garland striking ahead of him and Hudson too. And even Mulligan over on the right. Cook with the ball now though. Back for Harris. Oh, nicely into space there for Osgood. Hudson again. Garland in the middle, and that's one aim for Garland. Oh, and he missed it by a fraction. That really has been the strength of Chris Garland, and indeed, for that matter, Kemba this season. But Garland in particular, the magnificent way that he gets into unexpected positions. In fact, he may have been caught offside there, but the warning was quite clear for Manchester City. Indeed, he was offside. Lee to Jeffries. Bell was shouting for that ball, and it really is significant how, although they've had a rather disappointing start to the season, how eager the City players are to take possession of the ball. Nobody really hiding, and Webb certainly wasn't hiding there. Summerby. Tars, Bell, Donachie. Donachie was flattened by Garland, and so he couldn't take the return pass from Bell. And so Garland now in possession for Chelsea. Hudson up there inside him. Flicked on again beautifully by Hudson for Garland. Turned back again towards Osgood, and Miller was there before him. Or rather, Jeffries. Again, the swift striking of Chris Garland for Chelsea. And a beautiful through ball from Hudson that set him on his way. Bell to Booth. Kemba. Donachie. Doyle. Hollins after him all the while. But the ball bouncing on for Ian Mellor. Played on there for Summerby, who's onside. Got Lee in the middle, but with no hope of reaching him. Garland coming deep. Donachie picking up the poor layoff there. So Ian Mellor again. Bell switching it nicely there for Summerby. Again, Lee lurking in the middle if Summerby can find him. That's the cross towards Mellor, in fact. And still with Mellor. And finally turned behind by McCready. And it looked as though Mellor was in a beautiful position to put Manchester City ahead. The Chelsea captain storming across. And so Bonetti and the Chelsea defence wait for the corner from Summerby. Tommy Booth on the edge of that Chelsea penalty area. Deep one there towards Doyle. Harris touching it off towards, or hopefully towards, Kemba. Hollins. Poor pass cut out by Bell. Summerby. Stopped nicely by McCready. Barrett. And Bell. Summerby. A deep one there towards Francis Lee. Mulligan climbing above him. And Kemba turning it towards Garland. Kemba. Osgood watched by Jeffries, but he's shaken him off. Attacking Booth. Laying it for Cook. Turned in for Garland. Delaying his shot. Osgood just over. Good Chelsea move. Right along the line, right from defence, right into attack. And Osgood playing a part when he gathered the ball and brushed aside the shadow of Jeffries. Attacked Booth, played it on, couldn't quite get the return low enough. Bell. Summerby nodding that down nicely for Francis Lee. Mellor. Slipping past Mulligan, but Harris was there too, but it's still Mellor. Mulligan. To Hudson. Good piece of play by Mulligan there, filling in nicely behind Harris. Now Hollins. Hudson. Hollins. And Hollins again. Down he goes. Donaghy tripped him, and Donaghy's going to be booked. Willie Donaghy tripping John Hollins. Doyle arguing there with referee Ray Tinkler. It's coming close to showing dissent. Shake of the head by Colin Bell, who disagrees, but the trip was a fairly obvious one by Willie Donaghy on Hollins. And I'm sure someone in the stand who is probably relishing the game in the centre there, Danny Blanchflower, formerly of Spurs, of course, Northern Ireland, the sort of man who believed when he played in the sort of football that City and Chelsea are producing at the moment here at Stamford Bridge. Well into injury time now at the end of the first half.
Go on, Mike!
And Jeffries to Summerby. Good deep cross there towards Francis Lee. Nailed it on for Mellor. Can he turn it in? And a good save by Bonetti. Bell in first. And the bounce wouldn't go for Summerby. Webb judging it the better. But not that pass, and Doyle picking it up now for Manchester City. Played on for Summerby. A good little final burst here by City. Lee trying to get the shot in, and then Hollins going across the face of his own goalkeeper. Lee down and injured. And now playing it back to Peter Bonetti. McCready for Chelsea. Nearly 2 minutes of injury time gone. And Donaghy now for Manchester City. Still Francis Lee is injured. Peter Bonetti, you can see in the background there, hovering over him. Summerby. And Doyle. Towers allowing it to go into touch, thinking that Mellor was behind him. Harris. Kemba to McCready. The last seconds of the first half. And Cook keeping that in well. Kemba. Played again for the adventurous Mulligan. Hudson, Mulligan again, turned in hopefully towards Garland. Lee on his feet again. Summerby. Webb. McCready. And a free kick given to Chelsea. McCready a little annoyed with the referee. They're not playing the advantage. Never an easy thing to do. But now here's Osgood with a great chance and a goal. And a goal by Osgood. So maybe Chelsea were happy that they didn't play the advantage, because they took a wonderful advantage of that quickly taken free kick. Osgood, with that eye for a goal that few others possess, flicking it to the right sort of angle, and then to the back of the goal to put Chelsea into the lead on the very stroke of half-time. In fact, with nearly 4 minutes of injury time gone at the end of the first half, Osgood's second goal of the season, and Chelsea's first of a highly entertaining game. Now Harris. Beautifully taken goal with all the skills. And a wonderful flourish to end the first half that has been so full of promise. Peter Osgood, the scorer for Chelsea. And still to come the second half of this highly entertaining game, and much more besides on the big match this afternoon. But a half-time score here at Stamford Bridge that reads Chelsea 1, Manchester City 0, and we'll be back with you in 2 minutes from now. Welcome back as Chelsea get the second half away, now defending the goal to our left. It's 1 goal up. In fact, Stamford Bridge is not the happiest of hunting grounds for Manchester City. They've not won here in their last 10 visits. Although I suppose the one consolation for them is they were 2-0 down last year and won 2-2, or at least drew 2-2. Garland coming back hard on Mellor. Good piece of tackling back there by the Chelsea number 7. He's got into the Chelsea side after being in and out last season and so determined to stay in this time. Jeffries, still Garland chasing and chasing and chasing, but now it's with Francis Lee. Bell again has gone through and he couldn't quite hold it. And turned by McCready across the face of his own goal and behind for another corner to Manchester City. Bell, who very nearly collected that ball from Lee in what could have been a really decisive position. Towers now with a deep corner. Summerby getting his head to it, turning it down, and Mellor turning it in. And the goal given, 1-1, and Mellor the scorer. A wonderful jump by Summerby, turning it in, and Mellor making no mistake at all as he turns swiftly on the ball to plant it wide of Bonetti. So with 5 minutes of the second half gone, Manchester City draw level. And Ian Mellor the scorer. Lee, while Chelsea argued, but Lee in fact unaware of the fact that the referee had given the throw to Chelsea. Some pushing there by Towers on Hudson. But Chelsea get the throw, if not the kick. Harris with the throw. Garland. Hudson. So many superb little touches by Hudson. Little flicks and little pushed passes. There's a little push pass there by Hollins at the 1-2 with Cook going on, and Hollins now the cross towards Osgood, trying to hit it first time off Towers, behind for the corner. Osgood chancing everything with a really spectacular looking volley, and it very nearly paid off with that deflection off Tony Towers, going behind instead for this corner to be taken by Charlie Cook. Right up, Garland in the 6-yard area. That's aimed towards David Webb, who gets ahead to it. Mulligan nodding it on. And somehow Corrigan got a hand beyond Garland to palm that one away. Now the Chelsea crowd beginning to find their voices again after that City equaliser. It's Garland, beautiful skills. Trying to turn it into the path of Kemba, though. Osgood trying to challenge there Jeffries, who's going past all comers. Osgood coming back for some more, and still with Jeffries on the pass to Bood. Good play by the City number 11. Now Summerby, has he got the speed? He has indeed. The cross there, Bonetti half getting to it, and then getting it a second time. And a great fist raise there by Francis Lee to Mike Summerby, saying well done for the speed and for the cross. Jeffries, Bell, Towers, Lee, Kemba and Hudson. Hollins to McCready. Barrett coming in hard and rather committing himself, and McCready going past him. And now a nice dummy there by Hudson, but has he got the pace as Towers comes right back at him. And a corner given. Corrigan contemplating how to put pressure on him. This massive figure, and another massive figure in David Webb coming up once more for Chelsea. And Mulligan, the number 2. Cook with the corner under that crossbar. The fist again of Corrigan to get it away. Bell. Mellor. Turned in for Doyle. A lot of challenging there going on between Doyle and Mulligan, going in hard. So a game with a lot of skills to it and a lot of artistry, but with the harder physical side to it as well, which is really what the game is all about. Combination of all those things. Donaghy, Mellor, played on nicely for Donaghy. Can he cross it this time? Bonetti half came and went, and McCready was unaware that Bell was so close behind him. Otherwise, he must surely have planted that ball behind for the corner to be absolutely sure. So the Chelsea captain in pain. Harry Medhurst coming on. Bell in his eagerness going hard in on the back of McCready. So the crowd who've really been treated to some fine football here this afternoon. Just wondering whether Chelsea can raise themselves again to go in front once more. And so I should think is Dave Sexton wondering exactly the same, the Chelsea manager. Mulligan. Garland. And Harris. The long one forward, and Mulligan of all people leading the charge again for Chelsea. And Chelsea's throw. Harris to Cook. Played nicely by Cook and nicely by Harris for Garland. Oh, beautifully played there for Harris. The hammer one, and Corrigan to save well. There's some beautiful interpassing there by Chelsea, with Cook and Garland and Harris making a really devastating triangle, and it's Cook again. Kemba, Garland, good play, still Garland, but 2 against 1, but still he won it. Now Cook. Handball, and indeed the linesman is flagging off. The referee said no, and the referee taking the linesman's word, and although the play is going on roaring at the other end of the field, in fact some of you putting the ball into the side netting, the referee there consulting with the linesman. In fact, Ray Tinkler had waved play on in the first instance, noticed that the linesman, who perhaps was better placed, had got his flag up. And so really it's another example of good teamwork on the field between the linesman and referees. Linesman and the referee. In fact, referees will always tell you there aren't 2 sides on the field, but 3. The 2 teams who are playing and the 2 linesmen and the referee. So Chelsea's free kick. 20 minutes of the second half gone. Hudson, a little dink deep. Towards Osgood, nodding it down, but into the arms of Corrigan. McCready bouncing off him. Donaghy. Mellor. A lot of life and a lot of style about this game, and it's Ian Mellor on the ball now for Manchester City into Francis Lee. And Webb caught that one in the face from Harris. And Garland down beneath us also clutching that right leg. So while Harry Medhurst off the picture is attending to one Chelsea player, Chris Garland, Peter Blakey, the City trainer, comes on to tend to David Webb. Takes a few knocks in the face during the course of the season, David Webb. He seems to be a fellow who's got perpetually either a black eye or a flattened nose or something. He really is a wholehearted player. Doyle with a long throw, and Bonetti missed it, and that time the wholehearted David Webb nodded it over his own crossbar to the safety of Chelsea. Well, he might have had something in his eye, but his eyes were firmly fixed on that ball, and that really came to Chelsea's rescue. So a corner then to Manchester City, who've come back with a tremendous amount of life in this second half, taken by Towers. Bonetti gathering it above the head of Mellor. And they want to bring Houseman on. Looks so it's Charlie Cook going off. header. Summerby for Bell. Barrett. Played on beautifully. What a good piece of running too by Doyle. But the cross didn't match it, and Chelsea get a goal kick. Hollins. Hopeful of getting to Garland, nodded in by Donaghy, and Jeffries in a lot of trouble, and now Houseman has a chance to score, and he's missed it. It's gone across the goal and behind. What a terrible amount of turmoil and confusion in that City goal mouth. Donaghy and Jeffries and Corrigan between them all going for the ball, and neither of them really getting it away. Falling for Houseman, and Houseman could only put it wide of what really at that moment was an unattended goal. Booth. And Webb to Macready. Chelsea passing, which for so long in the game looked so devastating, now has gone sadly awry. Lee. Good play by Lee to Colin Bell. Lee to Booth. Donaghy. Miller. Chelsea's throw. Harris to Hudson. Steve Kemba. Hudson. Towards Osgood, and Osgood got a head in and nodding it down there for Houseman. A tremendous goal! A tremendous goal by the substitute Houseman. And as the cross came over, a little flick on by Peter Osgood to the feet of Houseman, and he made no mistake. So Houseman on as substitute for Charlie Cook puts Chelsea ahead again. A very good header by Peter Osgood on the way. So someone a good deal happier now. Dave Sexton, the Chelsea manager, as the ball comes through to Bonetti. Although he knows so much can happen in the 6 minutes to the left. Now with Harris. Hollins. Mulligan. Houseman again, shadowed by Booth. Oh, and he kept that in somehow, and he didn't keep it in the second time, though. And the throw to Manchester City. Well into injury time, and there can't be much of it in this second half. It looks as though City are on their way to their 4th defeat in 5 games. But ridiculous to think that they will be in that position for too long this season with the amount of skill and talent they've got in their side. Another free kick to Manchester City for the nudge by Mulligan on Lee. Doyle quite clearly wanting everyone forward. City with far too much flair and far too much talent and invention to be so low in the table for very much longer, but they've been beaten here at Stamford Bridge this afternoon with goals by Peter Osgood on the stroke of half-time, and Peter Houseman there late in the second half providing a spectacular winner. And between those 2 goals, the one by Ian Miller just after half-time that gave Manchester City a little bit of hope. So a very good victory then by Chelsea, who played some good football in a game that was really renowned for its good football, and a final scoreline that reads Chelsea 2, Manchester City 1.
Even so, I suppose, a match that really only came up to expectations in patches. But to those 3 goals, we can add another 11 on the programme today as we bring you Burnley against Aston Villa and Sheffield Wednesday against Hull City. But now meet Malcolm Allison, manager of Manchester City, who was in the headlines today when it was claimed that he defied an FA ban and went down to the touchline when one of his players, Derek Jeffries, was injured. With Mal is Jimmy Hill.
First of all, Mal, I must ask you, why did you go down on the touchline?
Well, I thought that Derek Jeffries may have been seriously injured, and maybe, on the other hand, he could have played on. And when he was taken off on the stretcher, automatically the substitute got ready and started getting ready to go on. And Tony Book came to signal to me up in the director's box at Chelsea, which is about 50 yards away. And I couldn't communicate with him, so I got up and went down the touchline.
Yeah. So, in a way, that ban prevents you from doing your job?
Well, it does prevent me doing... when a player gets injured, you know, whether to bring a substitute on or whether to keep him off. You know, you have to make a decision. You have to recognise what type of injury it is. And the physiotherapist who's with us, you know, wouldn't know whether I wanted him kept on or brought off. You know, because he treats them like
patients. And you treat them like
film
footballers.
stars.
Is that the reason that you have written to the Football Association asking for that ban to be taken off?
Yeah, this is an important factor that, you know, that I may be able to go onto the touchline and talk to players about injuries and also make tactical changes. And also, when a player gets taken off, you know, you have to make tactical changes, so it's not possible from the director's box.
And maybe when he comes off, you would want to say, well done, lads, but I'm taking you off. I mean, that moment is an important one.
It's very important as far as the team spirit goes, yeah.
Do you think the FA will do anything about your request?
I hope so, and I've had some encouraging reports from 1 or 2 people at the FA.
Will you behave yourself if they let you get on the touchline again?
Yes, I think that that was just a phase that I went through, and I'm not so desperate to win things now as I used to be.
That's a surprising thing to say. You didn't win the match yesterday. Let's now look at the game. Look, first of all, at that injury to Jeffries, which you thought was a bad tackle by John Hollins.
Yes, this... John Hollins comes away with the ball here, and Derek goes in with John Hollins. They both go for the ball. And as Derek comes away, John kicks him from behind.
Yeah. He was seriously injured at that point.
He had 2 stub marks in his kneecap, you know, which and it was very painful at the time.
Not characteristic of John Hollins. I mean, he's not recognised as one of the game's rough players, but on the other hand, he was desperate to get that ball back.
Well, it was just outside his own penalty box, and I think he realised that they might be in desperate trouble, and he went for it.
Yeah. Well, there was a happy ending. In fact, he did get back on the field, Jeffries, despite that tackle, and play on. But what about your own side? The first goal, you were a bit critical of the way in which they reacted to that free kick.
Well, they were ball watching, especially the right fullback. This was the foul. Actually, it looks a lot worse there than I thought it was yesterday.
It was a foul. You've no complaints about that.
It was a foul. I mean, McCready beat Doyle.
And he thought he should have been able to play on, but in fact the referee did him a favour by making it a free kick. We don't see the free kick, but we do see the defenders caught out a little bit through thinking about the referee's decision.
Yeah. Tommy Booth was unfortunate there, but Colin Barrett was caught. Colin Barrett was watching the ball, and Osgood stole about 2 yards on him and come inside him. And he took the ball at good speed and beat Tommy Booth well and took it well. But Colin Barrett was definitely at fault there, and this is the inexperience, you know.
In fact, the second goal, you thought there might have been a suspicion of a push by Peter Osgood. He played quite a part, really, in the game by scoring the first very well and making the second goal. But Colin Barrett was a little at fault there, I feel.
Yeah, this is a great cross here.
Alan Hudson.
And Derek Jeffries sees the situation and comes to it.
But Osgood's so good in the air. He's got 6 inches above both of them.
Yeah.
And Tommy Booth, of course, is on Garland in the middle trying to get to Houseman.
It was a great goal. He took it well, and Osgood did extremely well. But, you know, a good professional wouldn't have come where Colin Barrett came there.
You mean an experienced professional?
Yeah, I mean an experienced professional. He'd have backed off in the situation and let Derek Jeffries go for it.
Yeah. In fact, I thought Colin Barrett was a very promising player, but looking at the 2 goals there, you can see he's been asleep, really, for both of them.
Well, I wouldn't say the second one he wasn't asleep. He was aware of everything, you know, but he didn't recognise that Derek was going for the ball as well, which I think an experienced player would have done.
Yeah.
You know.
This shows the difficulty of you rebuilding Manchester City in a way, because Tony Book has been so good through the years and played on and on and on, but now the time has come where you've got to replace him, and there's no substitute for an experience. Does this mean that Manchester City have got to have a season halfway up the division?
No, not necessarily. It means that if you're fortunate enough to get through and win games when they're gaining experience, you know, which can happen. And my young players are playing very well for me. I mean, Jeffries is playing well, and Towers is playing well, and Donnacha's playing well. It's my senior players are not playing so well.
Which ones?
Well, Francis is not, you know, he's not started playing yet. You know, he's not anywhere near what he was last year. He had a brilliant season last year. And Mike Doyle's not playing as well as he can do.
Can you see them getting out of this patch?
I think that they're just starting to play. I think the last 2 games they're playing a bit better, and I think that Francis realises it, and Mike Doyle realises it, and we hope to have Rodney back on Tuesday night.
Well, London's had a good start to the season now. Both Manchester teams on the bottom. They're both capable of playing attractive football. I hope you're soon back to your normal form.
Thank you.
So some good, solid and honest football talk there from Malcolm Allison, and I'm sure we all hope that the new Malcolm Allison is soon allowed back on that touchline bench where he ought to be. But next we come to our bonus match, the one we keep secret until Sunday, where we go looking for the very best goals to bring you on Sunday afternoon. And this week it's Sheffield Wednesday against Hull City at Hillsborough, a game with 6 goals to it and 1 sending off as well. The pictures come from Yorkshire Television, the commentator is Keith Macklin, and Sheffield Wednesday are the team in the striped shirts with black shorts.
Craig. Prendergast. Craig, good curling centre. Sunley up, getting to it. Eustace. Oh, goal! Looks like Sunley. McKechnie made a valiant effort. Sunley it is. David Sunley, who got 2 goals last week against Park Rangers. A good cross from Peter Eustace. Ian McKechnie, a brave attempt to save, got his hands to it, but it's David Sunley who scores to put Sheffield Wednesday ahead. McKechnie. Swan getting up. Only as far as Butler. McGill for Hull City. Pearson. Pearson trying to go around Clements, and it's a corner. Clements giving away the corner. So Hull City getting more into this game now. They had a pretty rough first 20 minutes when they conceded a goal. But the first surge of Wednesday pressure has abated, and it's Hull City coming back into the game. Taken by Butler, headed, oh, a good ever goal! And it's Pearson. A fine effort. Pearson, the scorer. Stuart Pearson, leading scorer last season, has equalised from a beautifully flighted corner by Butler. Grummett appeared unsighted as he went up for it. So Wednesday now 5 yards outside the Hull City penalty area. Chipped across, Sunley was going in for it. Clements still hovering about the penalty area, everybody going for it. It's Pearson getting it to Sissons. Sissons, a nice chip over, but Joycey off the line by McGill. In the middle, and Prendergast, it's high in the air. Where's he going to drop? On the line! And it's still not clear, it's on the goal mouth. What a mix-up on the goal mouth. That ball was in the air an eternity, and McKechnie was jumping around on his line like a scalded hen. This is Banks going through. Banks unchallenged as yet. Well, Wednesday, who started off with such authority, are looking a little shaky themselves now. That's to Fries, not a particularly good kick. Off the head of Banks to Pearson. Pearson fouled by Clements. Hull City anxious to get on with it. Jimmy McGill telling people to get up there. It's Knighton. Craig. A long one, it's a chase for Sunley. Sunley trying to get behind his man. And it's Wilkinson who gets it away. Now Kay. Coolly to McGill. McGill right across to Butler. Hull City much steadier now, building up their attacks with more confidence. Knighton. De Vries. Knighton. To Banks. It's a measure of Hull City's revival. They're pushing more men up. That's a good cross. Home is up there, and Butler, and it's not on the line. Pearson on the line. A goal, he's done it. Butler kept that in remarkably, and Pearson waiting for it and got it in for his second goal. So Hull City, after taking a toweling in the first 20 minutes, are 2-1 up, and Pearson gets his second goal. Rodriguez, Swan. McGill's header to Butler, into Knighton. Now Craig for Sheffield Wednesday, trailing by 1 goal. Prendergast, he's loose. It's a goal. There's the equaliser by Joyce. But Pickney couldn't hold the shot from Prendergast. And it's Joyce who follows up and makes it 2-2. Craig. Sissons is going to have to gallop after that. Pearson's joined him. And it's Sissons who charges Pearson off the ball. Pearson asked the linesman if that wasn't illegal. The linesman apparently has drawn the referee's attention to something. Mr. Ferguson calling Mr. Q over. Perhaps words were spoken. Now one wonders whether the notebook will come out now. No. Yes, and it's Stuart Pearson. Pearson is going to be booked. The linesman drew his attention. This was probably the incident where Pearson was asking for a foul and spoke to the linesman. According to the table, continued commenting to referees on decisions. Well, this could be a sensation. Stuart Pearson's, he could be going off for arguing. Ken Knighton and the Hull City players are going across to talk to Mr. Q. It looks as if sensation. Stuart Pearson has been sent off. John Kay telling Ken Knighton to cool down, or Knighton will go as well. If Knighton persists in arguing, he could go as well. And Stuart Pearson has been sent off the field, gets an encouraging pat from Peter Rodriguez. That surely can only be for deliberate arguing with the referee after first of all speaking to the linesman. McGill wanting someone to come to this ball. Craig. McGill. Now Lord again for McGill. Good running this by Hull. Knighton's on the left. But Swan gets his burly frame in the way of McGill, and Craig brings it away. Joyce. Brian Joyce, a shot! A goal! A beautiful goal by Joyce from outside the penalty area. Magnificently worked. He worked the position himself, cut inside, hit the ball, and McKechnie got his fingers to the ball, and Ian McKechnie got his hands to it but couldn't keep it out. And Hull City's 10 men have finally given away with 10 minutes remaining. Sissons for Wednesday now as they pile it on. Sunley, down goes Sunley, penalty it is, inside the area, Billy Wilkinson, the man who brought it down. Wilkinson, understandably unhappy, but there's no point in arguing with referee Mr. Q. So Tommy Craig will take the penalty, and this could be 2 goals in a minute, and 4-2 for Wednesday. Sympathy for Billy Wilkinson. That tackle was right on the edge of the area, or just inside. Craig to take it. 4-2. So within a minute, Hull City's 10 men have gone from 2-2 to 4-2 down.
Well, the referee's version of that sending off was that it was violence of the tongue, which of course comes under the category of violent conduct, and that's why Pearson was sent off. Well, that puts Sheffield Wednesday, that 4-2 victory, puts them at the top of the second division, and their crowd of 20,000 was the highest of the day in the second division yesterday. So maybe things are on the move at Hillsborough as well. But now we come to your letters, and with that morale-raising victory of Fulham up at Middlesbrough yesterday, there now comes the question, should Fulham also have beaten Burnley at Craven Cottage last Saturday? Numerous Fulham supporters, including Titch Fowle of Balham, have written to us saying that it should have been a Fulham victory, that the Burnley goal in the 1-1 draw was offside.
Well, in fact, this was a very good decision by the linesman. The clue is the last Fulham player to the right of your screen, right up in the top there. As the ball's crossed, just look at his position, and I think you'll see that he's playing everyone on side. Now, that Burnley player there next to him moves after the ball was kicked, and in fact, Leighton James there was clearly onside.
Well, coming from an ex-Fulham player, that must be right. P. Johnson of Cardiff, meanwhile, was surprised that we didn't show that wonderful Manchester City free kick against Norwich last week through the slow-motion machine, and quite right too, except that our slow-motion machine chose that week to pack up on us. So it's working again now. Here's the free kick that Mr. Johnson's
Well, a lot of
about.
clubs use this free kick, but not quite as well as Manchester City. Lee runs to the right of the block, the ball's played to the left, Summerby flicks it, but it's the way in which Lee gets that speedy ball down that really shows the class with which Manchester City executed that free kick.
So there we are, Malcolm Allison suggesting in his interview that Manchester City were perhaps getting back to a little bit of form. I think that helps to prove Malcolm's point. But now we turn on to our third match, and it's a chance to get an early season look at Aston Villa, the talk of the second division, after their maximum points from their first 2 games in the second division. It was a stern test, of course, for them at Burnley, at Turf Moor yesterday, where Jerry Harrison was the commentator, where the pictures come from Granada Television, and Aston Villa, they're the team wearing the light strip.
Anderson down there, only Aitken with him. He gets one across. Up goes Waldron. Graydon trying to turn hard on it. And it's Thomas back to Leighton James with a good bit of space. First man up to him is Brian Tyler. Leighton James going well. He scored early in the game against Fulham. What can he do here? Here's Collins. It's a goal! What a brilliant start for Burnley. 2 minutes. Doug Collins. Ross, the quick one to Aitken. Lockhead calls for the long one. That's meant for him. Up he goes. It's a good header. Hamilton. Beautifully worked. Chico Hamilton, his first goal in his first game of the season. And Andy Lockhead's header made it. Waldron coming strongly to it. Casper controls down to Collins. James is out there on the touchline. Up against Tyler first, and Graydon's coming back to help. Doug Collins. Casper. Keith Newton. Fletcher, a great shot! What a fantastic shot from Fletcher. A goal from nowhere, but a goal that will be appreciated at any level of football, and Fletcher's first goal of the season. Here it is again. Played away from the free kick, and Fletcher hit it really hard. Casper goes down the line here. Charlie Aitken behind him. To McMahon, to Ross. Fletcher. Dave Thomas. Good ball to Newton with a lot of space, and now Leighton James again. Up against Tyler first. Coming inside though. And Dobson. What a brilliant one, and a wonderful save from Jim Coombs. And Coombs complaining to his defenders that he was left exposed there, but it was a wonderful run from Martin Dobson, who's hurt. Dobson's run there must have been all of 40 yards. So Martin Dobson on his feet, and just in front of him, number 9, there is Paul Fletcher, the man who put Burnley into the lead. And his first goal of the season. So the corner. With the 2 big men from the defence up there, Waldron and Thompson. Dave Thomas trying to get it over. And it's Dobson! Martin Dobson with the 3rd goal, and after he'd hardly recovered from that terrible knock. So from the corner, it's Dave Thomas who takes it. It's Dave Thomas who eventually gets by his man to chip it over, and Martin Dobson who's there to punch it in. So Burnley really going beautifully at the moment, and it's a free kick. As we move into the last 15 minutes of the game. And here's Casper to chase this one. There's a good shot. Oh, a brilliant goal. And Burnley once again show how to take those half chances. So a big long kick away to Casper, and this is the way to take him. Well, there's no answer to that sort of shooting.
So 4-1 to Burnley, and I suppose with that sort of shooting, it might be that Burnley are going to be the talk of the second division this season with their likeable manager, Jimmy Adamson. But that's all today. Hope you've enjoyed it. We've certainly had plenty of goals, all of us. Don't forget On the Ball next Saturday lunchtime in World of Sport and the big match next Sunday afternoon. Now, there are some of you who say that commentators from time to time should pack up. That's just what I'm going to do now and let the sound speak for itself. From behind Joe Corrigan's goal, Peter Houseman's winner, and really it's the sound all goalkeepers dread, because it's the thump of the shot, listen for that, and then the swish as the ball hits the net.